with autism participate in every aspect of the community. This series will highlight some of these individuals, families, and community engagement projects. Come with us on a journey to meet people making a difference to build a more welcoming community.
Welcome to the series, Autism in Your Community. I'm Patricia Rossi, and today we are joined by the Center for Autism and Related Disability at the University of South Florida. And these are my guests.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yes, thank you for having us here. My name is Mindy Stevens. I'm the Assistant Director at the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities at the University of South Florida in Tampa.
Yay, I'm so glad you're here. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Nikki Torres. I am a board member for CARD, and I'm also the parent of a child with autism.
Thank you. Mindy, could you describe what services you offer, who you're funded by?
Sure. We are actually funded by the State of Florida Department of Education.
Okay.
We are a free resource because of that to families and businesses. So we are given a funding each year, and we abide by that, and we share it with 7 other CARD sites throughout the state of Florida.
Oh.
So each CARD site has a particular different counties that they represent. CARD USF actually represents 14 counties, but all counties in the state of Florida are represented by a CARD site, which is usually housed at a university. So what we do with the free service is we're here to help families, and so we provide 4 basic services. The first is research and referral information.
Okay.
And that's really wonderful, especially if families just want to call us and they want to maybe get the name of a local dentist in their district, or if it's something a little bit more intense like a parent support group, or different things that are going on in their community. It could be a social skills training. So we provide that with our database. And our database is actually driven, a lot of our resources, by our families. So when they hear of something that they have been successful with one of their children or young adults, they will share that information with us. We of course check it out, and then we'll put it in our database for people to access.
Great,
The
great.
second item that we are giving to families, that we provide for families, is direct assistance.
Okay.
And so what that means is that a family, if they need a little bit more help, we can certainly visit them at their home, or they can come to one of the CARD offices, and we create a nice action plan for them, and we can help with different issues that are going on with their kids. Anything from giving them support with toilet trainings to showing them how to use visual supports. The third item that we provide, CARD services provide, is technical assistance. And typically that is in our school districts. So since we cover 14 counties, we have quite a few school districts that we deal with. So we go into the schools and we help. We can just observe a child with autism or different children with autism and provide support and help for those teachers. And then finally, we provide a whole lot of trainings. So trainings, anything again from toilet training to ways to communicate to social skills, we're there to do that as well.
And what training would you say that you do the most, that is most widely trained or that you see happening?
You know, that really varies, because especially at the CARD USF, we're put into 3 different teams of CARD consultants. So we have an early age team, and that might mean that they're from birth until 5 years of age.
Okay.
So that might be more toilet training or just recognizing just initial strategies for children since they have just gotten the diagnosis.
Okay.
We also have a school age team, so those trainings might tend to be more school based. So it could be tips or strategies for general education teachers on curriculum items within the school. And then our third team is an adult team. So those trainings might be a state and guardianship planning. So, you know, I wouldn't say there's one particular training that we do. I think there's just such a variety. We do them a lot.
Okay. And what is the Autism Friendly Business Initiative?
The Autism Friendly Business Initiative
Yes.
is just, it's wonderful. And this, we began this a few years ago. And so what it is that we put it kind of into three areas. Mm-hmm. So the first is a business will contact us, let us know that they would like to become more autism friendly. Mm-hmm. So we set up a meeting and we try to figure out what their needs are, what they're looking for, what we can provide. And so what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll provide a staff training. And that can be from any business that might have 2 people who are staff members to 400 or 500 people. So we provide those trainings, and the trainings consist of just some basic information about autism and then some specific strategies for their place of business. So we'll do the training, we'll then tour the facility or the business, and we'll provide or modify visual supports for the guests or customers coming into that place of business. Then they get a nice autism-friendly sticker, and we put them up on our website, and we encourage them to put that they're autism-friendly on their website as well. The second aspect of the Autism-Friendly Business Initiative is trying to facilitate employment or internships for people who actually have autism. So it's building those relationships to make sure that, again, everybody's included in their community. And, you know, again, these are wonderful workers, employees, so we help facilitate that transition into internships and business opportunities. The third phase is more for our larger businesses that like to become autism friendly. And that is providing or helping to facilitate support groups for employees who may have a family member who has autism, so that they don't feel, you know, that they're quite alone, and they might want to talk with somebody, and we can, you know, set up some quarterly trainings or different types of speakers to come in. So that's our Autism Friendly Business Initiative.
I love that. Well, now what made you start this initiative?
I would say this started about 3 to 4 years ago, and really what started it, honestly, were our families. I mean, we have so many constituents that we have relationships with, families, and they were telling us that their children or even their teenagers or young adults were not accessing businesses for whatever reason. Could be sensory impact, and it was, you know, it just kind of broke all of our hearts at CARD, and that this is, you know, everybody's a part of a community.
Absolutely.
So we were very insistent that, you know, we need to figure out a way that we can work with different businesses to make it so that these families can access the movie theater, the restaurants, for, you know, the zoos, the aquariums, and that they feel welcome and comfortable. And it's just making little bits of changes within these companies. It's not an overhaul, it's just making it a little bit more comfortable for these, folks.
Who are some of your partners and collaborators?
Well, with the Autism Friendly Business Initiative, we have close to 40 businesses that we have worked with, including the Florida Aquarium, which we're very proud of, to the Lowry Park Zoo. And actually, the Lowry Park Zoo, they put on a Father's Day sensory-friendly event where they opened up the park early so that our families could get there, so some of the sensory issues such as loud noises and crowds wouldn't affect them. Put on a nice breakfast with some specialized diet items. We've also worked with the Tradewinds Resort, where we just had our annual card conference, so a lot of our families stayed there and were very happy with the service that they provided. You know, so we have large places. We also have some mom and pop places, like some Taekwondo, karate, so we have an array of people that we work with.
Wonderful. And give me just another little example of how you work with businesses. Can you go a little deeper there?
Once we get the trainings completed, like I said, we'll go in and we'll see, okay, what are some areas here that they might be able to change or improve on. So for example, at the Tradewinds Resort, during the training we just offered some suggestions of, you know, maybe when a family is here, maybe you can even make some hotel room modifications. So you might have some, just like similar to physical the people who have the physical accommodations. Just some things where you might not have glass tables or have, you know, kids that might have some alarms. So if kids get disoriented, because, you know, we take it for granted that we know that we're going to a resort or a hotel. We understand that, you know what, we're coming here on a Friday, we're leaving on a Sunday. Somebody with autism, if it's not explained what the experience is going to be like, they might think, wow, are we living here now? Is this my home? Is this my new room? So there could be some disorientation, so you want to make sure that you know, that you prepare for that. So they were very forthcoming. They also have a script, so if somebody calls for a reservation, and they identify that they have a family member with autism, they'll ask some different types of questions. So they might ask, do you have any allergies to certain cleaning materials? Or, you know, would you prefer a room close to an exit or further away from an exit?
Let's just check with the Florida Aquarium in Tampa and see this initiative in action.
Hello, my name is Mindy Stevens. I'm the Assistant Director at the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities at the University of South Florida, CARD, in Tampa. And I'd like to introduce Rob Lamke, who is a Supervisor of Client Services at the Florida Aquarium. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. We're talking about the Autism Friendly Initiative, and one of the components of the initiative is to have students or young adults have internship or employment opportunities. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we had the opportunity presented to us from the Learning Center at USF if we would be interested in having an intern in our operations department. And we were thrilled at the opportunity. We didn't really know what to expect at first. Understanding autism from the training that we had from CARD, I think we kind of developed some ideas, and they turned out to be misconceptions in the end. And we were thrilled, and we got a great intern by the name of Nick Medeiros. And Nick was fantastic. He helped us out in operations at first with kind of some introductory skills to the aquarium, you know, some cleaning, some organizing, some helping us out with programs and things like that. And then Nick himself had expressed an interest in marine animals and animals in general. And so we were able to actually get him working with some of our animals team, our husbandry and biology team. And he really took off and became an incredible asset to the aquarium, because he not only was diligent in what he did every single day, on time, he was thrilled to be here, and really became, his kind of energy and spirit kind of became contagious within the team, and everybody got to look forward to when the days that Nick was going to be here for his internship. So what we started off with, and not really having any clear idea of what was going to happen, turned out to be a really wonderful surprise, and that we gained a valuable asset in the intern that we got from the Learning Center at USF.
Why did the Florida Aquarium want to become autism friendly?
Given the enjoyment that the venue offers people, that we become autistically friendly so that we could help and provide better services for those families that come to our venue.
That's great. And how long have you been autism friendly?
Since August of 2011. It was a fairly easy process, and was an incredible discovery for our staff to realize some of the things that they were already doing was stuff that they could do better, and that there were very simple things that they weren't doing that they could start to do that would make the experience for those guests and families with autism much easier.
That's great. That's a great opportunity.
Anybody with any questions should feel free to call me directly here at the aquarium. The phone number is 813-273-4000, and you can either ask for my name, Rob Lamke, or you can dial my extension at that point, which is 4255. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have about the aquarium.
So thanks so much for sharing that. I wanted to ask you, what other kind of feedback are you getting from businesses?
We get a lot of feedback, especially after our trainings. They really want to know more, and especially during the trainings, a lot of their staff have so many questions and are so thankful that they're learning this about their patrons and guests. So the feedback they'll send us surveys that families have sent that might have stayed at a hotel and saying how wonderful that was, to, you know, a pizza place that is their customers are commenting about how wonderful an experience. The businesses want to continue, so we don't just go in there one time. We follow up with them and even add some things. Like, for example, not necessarily an autism-friendly business, but we do a lot of collaboration with some of the malls, like West Shore Mall. They'll have the sensory-friendly Santa events, and we help create visual supports for them and help out with those events. Or even springtime events. So, you know, we're always trying to figure out new things. And even some of our businesses, like Kalijah Tea Room, they'll put on fundraisers for us. So a portion of their proceeds might go to us, as well as some other organizations as well.
Perfect. Well, let's get a family perspective. So, Nicole and Chase, I wanted to ask you, what are some positive or negative things you may want to share that you've experienced in the community?
Well, we have had trouble with restaurants from time to time, like babies crying or tables being filthy, but I've learned to ask for the help of that.
Yeah, Chase has gotten really good at being able to kind of advocate for the things that he needs, and that is one of the areas that we've had some challenges. It's a little hard because when you walk into a restaurant, you don't always know what to expect. I think that many families going out into public have felt very judged, are worried, am I going to be criticized? How is my child going to be able to handle the lights in this restaurant, or the babies crying in the restaurant? For Chase, it's a little hard when there's dirt on the table or the floors, crumbs and food and stuff. That can, you know, really bother him, so much so that he loses his appetite. So we know that families worry about those kinds of things. So for us, definitely restaurants have been a bit of a challenge, but he does a great job of advocating for what he needs, so that's been helpful.
Wonderful. And how has the initiative affected your family, just you guys, you two?
Well, I know that we have been to several places that have gone through the CARD training and that are considered autism friendly. And when we see that little sticker in the door, we feel very relieved. We know that we're walking into a place that is going to understand. We know we're walking into a place where staff has been trained. We feel much more understood. We feel like we're not going to be judged. If there's an accommodation that needs to take place, we don't have an issue asking for it. We know that that staff has been trained beforehand. So it provides a much more friendly, comfortable atmosphere for our family.
And peace, just going in, like you said, just going in, that you can exhale. So,
absolutely.
Well, what is the impact of this initiative on families, business, and community? If you had to just say in a sentence, what would that be?
More welcoming, understanding, knowing some of the basic things like Nikki was saying. You know, at a restaurant, if somebody has issues with loud noises or crowds, you know, positioning them in an area that may not have that walk-through busyness. So I think probably more than a sentence, but I think it's just the stereotypes that are out there, and having that training for these staff, they just have a better understanding that these are people who just want to be part of this community, and just making that little bit of effort for support is very beneficial.
Why would it be important, and we all know, but maybe you can help us, for all businesses to become more understanding with this initiative?
Not only is it beneficial for families, but it's smart business. Absolutely. Because you're going to include a portion of society that is staying home and not accessing and spending money at your business. So, you know, that's a key, is just not only wanting to include everybody, but it's a smart business move.
Can I just add something to that? Not only that, but for families to be able to take their children out into the communities, there are some very critical skills that they can learn in those types of environments that they need to be able to function in this world. So, I mean, that's another aspect of why this is so important, because it does impact directly our kids and it teaches them those skills.
That's wonderful. Go ahead.
Well, okay, it could possibly add customers to the business because of them being more autism friendly. So So that's all I have to say.
I love that. Thank you, thank you. Well, what is the easiest way for businesses to get involved? Like 1, 2, 3. How could we, welcome them in, love them, and show them? Because I know every single one of them wants to be involved.
Absolutely. It's really not difficult to do. The first thing they would need to do is give us a call. So they could reach us at 813-974-2532.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask you, what are 1 or 2 more things that you would like for everyone to know about people or families with autism?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have to recognize these individuals as people first. They are not simply defined by their having autism. That's a message that I always try to make very clear with Chase. Chase is a wonderful child, filled with many talents, as so many of our families are. So I think it's important that we do that. I think it's important that we understand that they are capable of much more than we give them credit for if we just give them the right opportunities. So having these friendly, these business-friendly initiatives provide our kids with those opportunities to grow, to learn. One of our favorite places to go is the Trade Winds. That happens to be an autism-friendly facility. It's a very large place, a lot of noise, hustle and bustle. Normally that may be sensory overload for Chase, but the staff is trained, they understand our needs, and we navigate through that just fine, and it's one of his favorite places to go, so we do very well.
What is your favorite thing about the Trade Winds?
Well, I don't really know. I think it might be the good rooms or the pools or... You know what? I can't really debate on that.
There's so many things you like about it.
And I think people just have perceptions or stereotypes that are just so inaccurate. And I know we focused a lot on our, the staff trainings for autism friendly, but what we really want to see are people being employed with their interests. This isn't just something that, okay, this person can only do 1, 2, or 3. These are qualified people who can be employed and can be completely successful. I mean, if you think about, with autism, they're structured, they're routine oriented, very bright. They're the perfect employee in a lot of ways. So I think having people understand that and not try to pigeonhole them into what they think somebody should be doing, but what they want to be doing, and not just a job, but creating careers, because there is a faction of people out there, and we see it every day, that are not being utilized for their strengths. So that's another thing that we really want to see people change their minds about.
And all our passions matter. And when we use our passions and do what we're supposed to do, everything just works out for everyone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, if you had to say something to a child that was autistic, what would you say? How would you encourage them? What would you say?
I would tell them that they're not stupid. It's just that their brain works differently. Like, take some of these people, for example, Albert Einstein, Temple Grandin. They had autism and they affected the world in so many ways. So that's what I had to say to them.
So many, so many.
The hardest part wasn't getting the diagnosis. It was what to do next.
What's an IEP?
Doctors, specialists,
I worry about my son's future.
autism,
It all changed with One Call to Card.
direction, and connections.
Answers and resources.
Training and technical assistance?
Card's business program filled our tables and opened my mind to new customers.
Guidance, resources, training. Card, our beacon of light.
I'm Patricia Rossi, and today we are joined by the Center for Autism and Related Disability at the University of South Florida. So I want to know a little bit more about CARD.
We're a free service, but we do have things that we want to do over and beyond what we're funded to do. So a lot of times we will put on fundraisers, and the great thing about our fundraisers is 100% goes back to the families, to the community. So we really try and we strive to hold, we do have a once-a-year fundraiser that we encourage.
And it's fun. It is so much fun.
Fiesta by the Bay, we love that. But this is money that's going back into the community. We've had a learning lab. We've bought computers for our students in the Learning Academy. I mean, it's wonderful. We also work very closely, again, with our school districts, and we provide materials to them as well. I know one year, I mean, we've given thumb drives out, these, and I'm a former teacher, so I understand, getting some things for the classroom, getting those supports and working closely with our school districts to provide quality materials that will then benefit the students. So a lot of our fundraising money will go into special projects, so that we're doing health and wellness symposiums. We're putting on, we're working with school districts to put on races, sprints, things like that. So we also help fund a Autism Summer Institute, which benefits our 4 major counties, but all of our counties are invited. So our funds, again, 100% given back and trying to raise and support teachers and educators and work with those community leaders so that we're making a difference.
As a constituent and a board member, I've been on both sides of the fence. So I know that as a constituent, I know the services that we have received through CARD. My consultant has been instrumental in helping us to get where we've been. They've come into the classroom, they've done observations. But then on the professional side of what I do, I've had CARD consultants come in and do trainings for me and my families. Potty trainings and trainings on social skills, so that's been wonderful. And then being a board member and getting to sit around, the table, and throwing out ideas, creative ways that we can come up with different ways to fundraise so that we can, like Mindy said, raise the money to put right back into the community to continue to help our families. It's been wonderful.
So the board is, how many people are on the board?
We have about 10 members on the board.
And how many years have you been lucky enough?
I have been blessed to have been on the board for 8 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so very, very fortunate.
So you're the reason for all the fun we do have when we're raising.
For our Fiesta by the Bay, which you don't want to miss. I mean, it's a wonderful event. We have a great time.
And Nikki's very supportive. She's always been a huge asset for our board. So we're always happy. She's always there to help.
Well, that's what I love, because it comes from you, and who knows better than a mother or a father or a family member. So it isn't somebody sitting there that doesn't know.
We know where this money's going. It is going to the families. So to be a part of that has just been an honor.
And the great thing about the money that we raise for fundraising is that it stays right here in the local community. It doesn't go anyplace else. It's here for the people who need it here locally, so it's very beneficial. And one other thing is that what we support with the fundraising money is we can also give scholarships to families to attend conferences.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's another benefit of our raising the local fundraising money.
Thank you for helping us all be more welcoming and autism friendly. Thank you.
Thank you.